And the president's big tax and spending bill now on its way back to the House of Representatives. This after passing the Senate by the slimmest of margins. Emily Wilkins is in Washington, D.C. this morning, staying up like all day, all night. Never stops for you.
Well, maybe it will stop today, Andrew. I mean, we're going to see here. But if it's going to pass the House today, then Speaker Mike Johnson, he's going to have to change a couple no's to yeses before starting on this vote for the mega bill. Remember, in the House, if you have full attendance, Johnson can only lose 3 Republicans and still get the bill passed. But right now, there are roughly about a dozen members that are either planning to vote no or have some really serious concerns with this bill. Now, some of these members, they're Republicans from more centrist districts who worry they could lose re-election next year over Medicaid and SNAP cuts. Others are, of course, your fiscal hawks. They've been frustrated for a while with this bill that adds more than $3.4 trillion to the debt over the next 10 years. That's a number updated just last night by the Congressional Budget Office. Some members are annoyed that some of the clean energy tax credits are still in the measure. The Senate measure, remembers, does allow wind and solar programs to get some tax credits if they start construction in the next year. I chatted a bit with Congressman Tim Burchett. He told me he's in the I'm not sure column and needs more time. But he thinks that it's not just him. He thinks more time in general is needed to hash out disagreements with the bill. And he's skeptical that Republicans are even going to be able to agree to a procedural rule vote.
There's probably about a dozen that will probably vote against the rule. And if the rule goes down, it doesn't necessarily kill the bill. That could allow some time to work on the bill, and maybe some calmer heads will prevail.
Johnson told reporters last night that while the Senate made some changes that his conference doesn't agree with, he will work to answer all concerns and get the bill, specifically the bill the Senate passed, delivered before July 4th to Trump's desk. And of course, guys will be keeping a very close eye on all of the back and forth negotiations that are going to have to happen today on Capitol Hill for Johnson to get this thing passed.
This may sound like the silliest of questions. Is everybody in Washington right now, or is any of these people actually left town?
So the Senate has left town. The House is either in town or they are trying to get to town because we had a giant thunderstorm last night here and a bunch of flights were canceled. But the goal was for all the House members to be back today, and that is the plan. But of course, if the House changes this bill in any way, shape, or form, it will need to go back to the Senate. And the Senate has just left town. So there's definitely, if any changes happen, there's not going to be a way to get this done before July 4th.
So all this talk, Emily, about negotiations and working things out, that would basically set back the timeline.
It would, Melissa. And I think, of course, you know, when you talk about these negotiations, sometimes the ask for members or sometimes the things that leadership can sort of give to get members to yes isn't necessarily a change in the bill text in the Trump mega bill. So we'll see if there's a way to go forward with that. Of course, the other thing we're keeping an eye on here is the White House, is Trump himself. Of course, we've seen with a lot of these major votes that he has been the one to come in at the last moment, really twist some arms and get members to support. And so that's another thing we're keeping an eye out for today, is exactly what role Trump and the White House are going to play in getting this thing over the finish line.